Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a update on what is now Hurricane Helene here. So as you can see, we have Helene here, and I think my radar omega might have just crashed, so give me a sec. Okay, we didn't crash, that's good. But as you can see, this is Hurricane Helene right here. If you remember yesterday when I did my video, it was potential tropical cyclone 9. Since that video, it has obviously since strengthened and is now a 85-mile-an-hour hurricane here in the Gulf of Mexico. It is no longer in the Eastern Caribbean. It is now firmly in the Gulf of Mexico. And if we turn on our cone here, our projected track, you can see that National Hurricane Center does believe that Helene will make it to Category 4 before landfall sometime between 7 and 10 p.m. on Thursday, tomorrow. We will be live on the channel here, so make sure you have notifications on for that live stream. I'll probably go live sometime between 5:30 and 6, depending on how much charge my computer is at. I'll probably plug it in as soon as I'm done recording this video for you guys. But our newest update here, also, if you remember, yesterday I was mentioning how John was gone. Yeah, I lied. John's back. Tropical Storm John in the Eastern Pacific is back once again for another go, which I believe they said John is forecast to be an 80-knot peak, which is about 90 miles an hour, I think. Let's look at that, actually. So what was it, 80 knots? That's about 92 miles an hour. So about 90 mile per hour Category 1 hurricane, I believe. I believe that's a high-end Cat 1 or a low-end Cat 2. But going back over here, let's pull back up the National Hurricane Center website here. Take a look at the new advisory for Hurricane Helene. So Helene is an 85 mile per hour hurricane here. It's moving north at 12 miles an hour, and its central pressure is down to 978 millibars. The headline of this advisory for Helene says that it is strengthening, which is what we expected. Helene already has rapidly intensified once, which was yesterday while I was at work. It intensified from 40 knots, from 40 miles an hour, all the way up to, I think it was about 70 miles an hour or so. So Helene has already rapidly intensified once, and we are expecting sometime in the next 3 to 6 hours that another cycle of rapid intensification will begin here. So preparations to protect life and property from storm surge and damaging winds along the Florida Big Bend coast should be rushed to completion today. If we go into the public advisory here, there have been changes with this advisory. We have had more watches and warnings go into effect since the last video as well. Then we'll talk about storm surge in a second, because the storm surge is going to be devastating no matter what happens here. So the center is about 460 miles southwest of Tampa, Florida, or about 505 miles south-southwest of Apalachicola, Florida. Maximum sustained winds are near 85 miles an hour with higher gusts. Steaming is north at 12 miles an hour. And its minimum central pressure is 978 millibars, as I have already stated. Now, the changes with this advisory. Storm surge watch east of Mexico Beach to Indian Pass has been upgraded to storm surge warning. And the tropical storm watch north of South Santi River to Little River Inlet has been upgraded to tropical storm warning. So, the summary of watches and warnings in effect currently. A storm surge warning is in effect for Mexico Beach eastward and southward to Flamingo, Tampa Bay, Charlotte Harbor. A hurricane warning is in effect for Antelope River to Mexico Beach. You guys remember, Mexico Beach was where the last Category 5 that has made landfall in the U.S. made landfall. That was Hurricane Michael back in 2018. And some of our upper-end hurricane models are suggesting that Helene might make it up to Category 5 before it makes landfall. Now, I will say, Helene still has about 26 hours or so over the water of the Gulf. To strengthen and intensify more than the National Hurricane Center has predicted. So there's that for you guys. So then the hurricane warning is also in effect for Cabo Calduche to Tulum, Mexico, including Cozumel. Storm surge watch is in effect for west of Indian Pass to Mexico Beach. A hurricane watch is in effect for the Cuban province of Pinar del Rio, Inglewood to Antelope River, including Tampa Bay. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the Florida Keys, including the Dry Tortugas, Flamingo to Antelope River, including Tampa Bay, west of Mexico Beach to the Okaloosa-Walton County line, Flamingo northward to Little River Inlet, Lake Okeechobee, Rio Lagartos to Cabo Calduche, Mexico, the Cuban province of Artemisa, Pinar del Rio, and the Isle of Youth. Storm surge warning means that there is a danger of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastline during the next 36 hours in the indicated locations. For a depiction of areas at risk, please see the National Weather Service Storm Surge Watch Warning graphic available at hurricanes.gov. This is a life-threatening situation. Persons located within these areas should take all necessary actions to protect life and property from rising water and potential for other dangerous conditions. Promptly follow evacuation and other instructions from local officials. And I actually have an image for you guys that shows all the evacuation orders in the state of Florida right now that I'll pull up in a minute here. Hurricane warning means that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area. Warning is typically issued 36 hours before the anticipated first occurrence of tropical storm force winds, conditions that make outside preparations difficult or dangerous. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion. As I said, I believe I said this yesterday, Helene is a large system. This isn't like Francine or even Debbie that had a small compact core. This core of Helene is going to be large. And we'll see that at the end of this the end of the discussion here. Tropical storm warning means that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within the next 36 hours. Storm surge watch means that there's a possibility of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastline in the indicated locations during the next 48 hours. For a depiction of areas at risk, please see the National Weather Service Storm Surge Watch Warning graphic available at hurricanes.gov. A hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are possible within the watch area. A watch is typically issued 48 hours before the anticipated first occurrence of tropical storm force winds, conditions that make outside preparations difficult or dangerous. For storm information specific to your area in the United States, including possible inland watches and warnings, please monitor products issued by your local National Weather Service forecast office. For storm information specific to your area outside the United States, please monitor products issued by your local meteorological service. Now the discussion and outlook here. At 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, the center of Hurricane Helene was located near latitude 22.5 north, longitude 86.6 west. Helene is moving toward the north near 12 miles an hour. A northward or northeastward motion at a faster forward speed is expected during the next 36 hours. On the forecast track, Helene will move across the eastern Gulf of Mexico tonight and Thursday, and will cross the Florida Big Bend coast Thursday evening. After the landfall, Helene is expected to turn northwestward and slow down over the Tennessee Valley on Saturday and Friday and Saturday. Maximum sustained winds are near 85 miles an hour with higher gusts. Strengthening is forecast, and Helene is expected to be a major hurricane when it approaches the Florida Big Bend coast Thursday evening. Weakening is expected after landfall, but Helene's fast forward speed will allow strong damaging winds, especially in gusts, to penetrate well inland across the southeastern United States, including over the higher terrain of the southern Appalachians. Now, this is what I mean here. I said this is large. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 345 miles from the center. That comes to show you how large the system actually is here. Sorry about that. So, the key messages are Helene here. Storm surge. The combination of life-threatening storm surge and the tide will cause normally dry areas near the coast to be flooded by rising waters moving inland from the shoreline. The water could reach the following heights above ground somewhere within the indicated areas if the peak surge occurs at the time of high tide. So, Carabel, Florida to the Suwannee River in Florida. 15 to 20 feet of surge is expected. If you remember, so I saw a stat on Twitter earlier. The peak surge in Cedar Key. I apologize, something's in my throat. But the peak surge, the record amount of surge in Cedar Key was set in 1928. That surge was 10 feet above ground level. Helene has the potential to shatter that record if the peak surge occurs at the time of high tide. Helene could absolutely shatter that record. So, Apalachicola to Caribou, 15 to 20. Swanee River to Chasahouska, 10 to 15. Chasahouska, I'm probably botching that name till I'll get out, but to Anclote River, 8 to 12. Indian Pass to Apalachicola, 6 to 10. Anclote River to middle of Longboat Key, 5 to 8. Tampa Bay, 5 to 8. Middle Longboat Key to Inglewood, 4 to 7 feet. East of Mexico Beach to Indian Pass, 3 to 5 feet. Inglewood to Flamingo, 3 to 5 feet. Charlotte Harbor, 3 to 5 feet. For a complete depiction of areas at risk of storm surge in the nation, please see the National Weather Service peak storm surge graphic available at hurricanes.gov/graphics_AT4 period SHTML ? Peak surge. Storm surge can raise water levels by as much as 2 to 4 feet above normal ground level in some areas of onshore winds within the warning area along the north coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Wind. Hurricane conditions are expected within the U.S. hurricane warning area late Thursday, with tropical storm conditions beginning Thursday morning. Tropical storm conditions are expected in southern Florida later this evening and will spread northward across the rest of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina through Thursday night. Hurricane conditions, especially in gusts, are expected in the hurricane warning area in Mexico during the next several hours. Tropical storm conditions are occurring in the warning area in Cuba, and hurricane conditions are possible for the western portion of Cuba this evening. Rainfall. Hurricane Helene is expected to produce total rain accumulations of 4 to 8 inches over western Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and the northeast Yucatan Peninsula, with isolated totals around 12 inches. This rainfall brings the risk of considerable flooding. Over portions of the southeastern U.S. into the southern Appalachians, Helene is expected to produce total rain accumulations of 6 to 12 inches, with isolated totals around 18 inches. This rainfall will likely result in catastrophic and potentially life-threatening flash and urban flooding, along with significant river flooding. Landslides are possible in steep terrain across the southern Appalachians. For a complete depiction of forecast rainfall associated with Hurricane Helene, please see the National Weather Service storm total rainfall graphic available at hurricanes.gov/graphics_AT4 period SHTML ? Rain QPF in the flash flood risk graphic at hurricanes.gov/graphics_AT4 period SHTML ? ERO. Tornadoes. A tornado or two may occur tonight over parts of the Florida Peninsula and southern Alabama. The risk of tornadoes will increase on Thursday, expanding northward across Florida into parts of Georgia and South Carolina. Surf. Swells made by Helene will affect the southern coast of Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico during the next couple of days. Swells will spread northward toward the west coast of Florida and the northeastern Gulf Coast later today and Thursday. These swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip current conditions. Please consult products at your local weather office. And then the next advisory is at 8 p.m. That is an intermediate advisory. So we won't get a new cone then, but we'll get updates to the wind speed, the pressure, any new watches or warnings, and all that. Then the next full advisory is at 11. So, yeah. So going into the forecast advisory, they are predicting a 140 knot peak here. If we go back to our knots a mile per hour here, 140 knots is equivalent to 160 mile per hour system. That is a Category 5. That is a Category 5 hurricane on this first Simpson scale. That's just nuts. Oh, that's Gus. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was looking at the wrong thing. My got bad. That's my fault. That's a 130 mile per hour storm here. That is still a category. That is a low end Category 4 hurricane right now. However, most of the models, some hurricane models, are now saying that this has potential to be a Cat 5 by the time it makes landfall. If we take a look at cone here, sometime between 1 p.m. on Thursday and 1 a.m. on Friday is when this storm is expected to make landfall here. We go to our experimental cone, which is not up yet, but you'd see that if we go over to Radar Omega here, all this teal, light blue, whatever you want to call it, you see here, that's all tropical storm watches or warnings. Yeah, these are tropical storm warnings that are in effect right now. All the way up into North Carolina. So Charlotte, you're in a tropical storm warning. Atlanta, Columbus, Georgia, Auburn, Rome, Peachtree City. You guys are all in this. Asheville up here, and I believe this is still North Carolina. All those areas are under a tropical storm warning just because of how large the wind field is. You can see that here. So the Keys are currently getting hit by the swells that have been generated by Helene, as you can see here. It actually looks like a heavy band coming through right now. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, there's probably a couple water spouts involved in this as well, just off the Key West coast. So that's very interesting here with our system with Helene here. That there is probably some water spouts, and as you can see, we just got an update, and look how quickly those outer bands are going up. These storms are moving quickly, guys. You can't underestimate the system. So going over here, refreshing to get the new updates here. Potential water level records will be set in the Tampa Bay area from Helene. So as I said, Cedar Key, your record is 8.65 feet. The forecast is 9.1 feet of surge. We are likely to see records being shattered tomorrow and throughout Friday from Helene. From Cyclone I see weather on Twitter. Despite drier intrusions, Helene is steadily strengthening with pressure down to 974 from 974 millibars from 988 millibars 4 or 5 hours ago. Seems like the persistence of shallow convection and cumulus and Liu, I don't know, deeper convection still supported deepening. And I'd agree with that. Southwest Florida International Airport, as of 9/25/24 at 4:30, Air Canada, Breeze, Frontier, JetBlue, Southwest, Spirit, Sun Country, and WestJet have canceled flights tomorrow. Some early morning flights have been canceled on American, Delta, and United. Please contact your airline for flight information. 15 to 20 feet of surge now forecast for the area between Carabel and the Swanee River. This is an unsurvivable amount of storm surge. 20 feet will cover a 2-story home. So if you guys are in the Big Bend area of Florida, near where Debbie made landfall earlier this year, and near where Idalia was last year, you guys need to be taking your precautions right now, getting out. Once again, oh no. Tides already coming up to Shore Acres or U-Haul storage trucks are the go-to way to keep stuff dry. Intersection of Huntington Street and Delaware Avenue. I don't know where that is. Don't know where Shore Acres is, but that's not good to see. That surge is already starting. Florida Division of Emergency Management. We have partnered with Uber to provide Floridians free rides to shelters in counties under a state of emergency. Yeah, that's a really good. 4 p.m. shelter occupancy data courtesy of Florida Emergency Management. Alachua County, 0 people. Hernando County, 0 people. Manatee County, 0 people. Pasco County, 0 people. Pinellas County, 350 people. And Sarasota County, 44 people. Total of 394 people are currently being sheltered as of an hour ago. That's likely going to go up. Mass evacuations are beginning in Wakulla County. Another few hours to rush outdoor preparations to completion. So, tropical storm force winds will begin around pretty much soon in the Keys. By 2 a.m. tomorrow, much of South and Central Florida, including Tampa, will start experiencing tropical storm force winds. Then by 8 a.m. tomorrow, much of the areas that should be impacted by Helene, when it eventually makes landfall, will begin getting into tropical storm force winds. So you guys have a few hours left here. This is our updated evacuation map currently as of 3:30 p.m. All the areas in red that you can see here are areas that have mandatory evacuations for certain areas. The purples are mandatory evacuations countywide. That includes Franklin, Wakulla, and Taylor counties. The areas in the mandatory for certain areas include Gulf, Liberty, Leon, Jefferson, Madison, Swanee, Lafayette, Dixie, Citrus, Hernando, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Sarasota, and Charlotte. The checkered areas are mandatory for some areas and voluntary for some areas. That includes Levy, Pasco, and Manatee counties. And then the blue includes voluntary for some areas. That includes Gadsden, Hamilton, Baker, and one. One is Gilchrist. So those are there. There's a rare high risk issued for rainfall for tomorrow, issued by the Weather Prediction Center from Helene. But with that being said here, we will go back to our imagery of Helene here. Actually, before I go, I want to show you guys the recon missions right now. We have a recon mission that just left a few hours ago or a few minutes ago. I can't tell which it is. But we have a NOAA mission in there. We have an Air Force mission in there right now. And it looks like they're going up north for a east to west cross through the center. And they're getting about 63 to 83 knots, which is a hurricane, and strengthening one at that. So they're getting some decent data here from Helene. We have a NOAA plane going out there. Then we also have missions into... What's this one? Is this one done? Yeah, this is the mission that was in there previously. This is the mission that got us up to a high-end Cat 1, most likely. And they are just now returning to their base in Florida. That was a low-level recon. Our one that's going in right now is that's mission into John. We're not going to be talking about John as much, mainly because, then again, though, it did strengthen rapidly last time I said that I wasn't going to talk about it, so just know that John is expected to become a hurricane again. Hopefully it doesn't rapidly intensify again, but we can't be too certain of that. Our recon mission that's in there right now is a low-level reconnaissance flight, and our Air Force mission that's going in is unknown. So it's either a low-level recon flight or it's a upper-level flight, just getting the data from higher up in the atmosphere, seeing what the conditions around the storm is like right now. So finally, I want to take a look, show you guys the water vapor imagery here. So the black is dry air. And as you can see, there really isn't much dry air around Francine. Not Francine, geez. Helene, that could hinder it. Once it starts rapidly intensifying, there's not really much that can stop it. The only thing that I could think of that might hinder it is John. But even then, Helene is healthy enough that I think it can fight off the shear. The only thing that'll stop it after it makes landfall is the mountains and not being overwatered anymore. That's literally the only thing that can stop Helene right now once it starts rapidly intensifying, which is it's likely already started to do. But anyways, guys, that'll be it for the video today. Sorry about it being so long, but we need to get you guys all the most recent information about Helene. Once again, I'll likely have another update out around 9 a.m., 10 a.m. tomorrow, maybe 11, once the 11 a.m. advisory comes out. Then we'll be starting our live stream around 5:36 or whenever the hourly updates begin for Helene. But once again, that'll do it for me.